definitely getting started a little bit later tonight, and in fact, I don't even have what's called a lower third underneath my picture yet, but I'll get it there. We were experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties, so if you've hung with us, we are so thankful that you did. We really appreciate your patience. Well, first of all, I want to welcome you. My name is Kelly Frazier. I'm the founder of the Day of Love and the DOL View, and I have co-created this amazing thing with two of my great friends and partners in this. I just want to again just express our gratitude to the community, especially for your patience for tonight. We just want to again just welcome you. We have Day of Love, which helps you learn 3 key components to healing and restoring relationships. That is about connecting to God, connecting to yourself, and connecting to other people. Now, you're in the right place if you deal with any division in any one of those relationships. Our theme for tonight is actually quite fun. We are looking forward to this. It's called Get Your Little Self Out of the Way so Your Bigger Self Can Shine Through. And that's definitely one thing that I think we've all worked on over the years, and so I have brought these experts together to be able to help you understand how you can do the same thing. Now, is it always perfect 100% of the time? No, and that's what we're going to talk about. So we've got a great show for you tonight, and it includes 2 excellent gifts that we're going to be giving away as well. But first, we want to thank our devoted sponsors. One of our sponsors is Promote Your Passion, which they create a nurturing environment for entrepreneurs. We also have a sponsor named Hugs, who brings out your confidence and your beauty. We also want to thank Connecting LLC and Kim Live TV for allowing us to bring the DOL View live stream to you for free. So if you're just tuning in, again, I want to welcome you to the DOL View, and we're so glad that you're here. Now, if you have a friend who's asking to join, or maybe somebody just sitting right there with you watching, that's awesome. Just make sure that you encourage them to sign up on the dayoflove.org page. That way, they can get all the information so they can receive, future free gifts, anything that we have coming out about the Day of Love, including any promotional programs or the live event itself and information about that, which is coming in the near future. So again, thank you for sharing the Day of Love programming, because it takes all of us working together and bringing healing and restoration into the world. Now, if you're watching us via the live stream page right now, then look down at the bottom. I think it's on the lower right-hand side. You're going to see a little chat symbol in the lower corner of that page. So just click on it, and it should open up to a chat box, and then you can just let us know your name if you're there and where you're from. We love you guys, and you're the reason that we're here. So if you have any specific requests or questions for us or for anyone on the panel, just let us know who it's for specifically and what your question is. We do have a moderator standing by who's going to be helping you along if you need it, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, ladies, as you can see, we've got a great panel here tonight, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by asking them to introduce themselves tonight, and in a few minutes of time, they're going to tell us 2 different things. One, they're going to tell us who they are. 2, they're going to tell us how they impact the world. Now, I've thought about this quite a bit because, going to networking events, or maybe even if you go to your friend's house, your neighbor's house, sometimes we often ask, what do you do? And people describe what they do rather than who they are and what they want to see happen in their life. So I thought that these 2 very specific questions was a great idea to kind of help you understand how to just think a little differently. So, Kelly Filardo, let's start with you.
Oh, I knew you were going to do that. And I've already forgot the first question. What's the first question again?
Well, tell us who you are and how you want to
impact the world. Right. Okay. Well, Kelly Filardo, and I'm a motivational speaker. I'm also a 2-time best-selling author, and how we impact the world. That's been a really amazing thing for me, because I thought I was just a speaker, just a writer, and it wasn't until I went to Africa last January, and I'm going to really be brutally honest, there was a few times during that trip when I was there that I was actually kind of feeling a little bit unappreciated. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, I just don't get it. And maybe it's the cultural differences, I don't know. But anyway, when I really stopped to think about it, I was quite impressed when I found out that my book was being used to teach self-esteem lessons to the teenagers. So we were doing this conference for 150 girls, and the Jane, who was the organizer of the conference, had my book in her hand, and she was saying, "Repeat after me" in Swahili, and she was saying, "I am me, the best me that I can be," which is out of my book, which is No Risk, No Reward. And I stopped to think about that, and I thought, wow, that's pretty powerful when all around the world someone is using my book to teach girls how to be the best me that they can be. So, in a nutshell, that is how I impact the world, is by, getting my message out there and, having other people share it too.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. Okay,
You're
Kim, how
welcome.
about you?
Well, tonight I am learning to get the little me out of the way so that the big me can shine through. Because my website, traininghangout.com, is what I created to actually teach business owners how to use Google Plus Hangouts to grow their business. And the way I'm impacting the world is I'm teaching them not to run after the shiny objects. I'm teaching them how to come up with a plan, how to follow through with that plan, and how to make sure that they're staying on target. So my impact is more on the businesses that are out there delivering information to you, giving them tips that can help them be successful. I'm teaching them not, like I said, to run after the shiny objects, because shiny objects are not always that great once you get them.
Mm.
So what I really want to instill tonight, what I really want to impart, the word that I have is sometimes you just got to get out of your own way, and you'll find out later what I mean by that.
Amen to that. And Kim, I do want to mention you have an incredible hairdo that is brand new, and it just looks beautiful on you. I mean, when she
Thank
came
you.
on tonight, it was just like a total different change, and she just looks exquisite. I love it.
Thank
So,
you.
well, thank you for explaining that. So now we have a VIP guest on with us tonight. We're thrilled.
Yay!
Yay!
Aparna is actually part of the community, and she's also a speaker, and she's got a great deal to offer this community. So we're very excited to have her on tonight as our VIP from the community. So Aparna, how about you?
Thank you, Kelly and Kim. My name is Aparna Kanolkar, and I think it's a great question. Who am I? And I had to ponder on it for a minute, and I'd like to say that I'm a woman who has finally come to understand that she's sacred. And for me, pleasure, play, dance, mothering, food, and nature, those are all very important aspects of who I am. That's what I bring to my world by being who I am. And in terms of my impact, a majority of my work is around transformation for women. And the deepest transformation that I offer to women is that they can see who they are and they can be themselves. They can learn to be vulnerable and speak their truth and really learn to celebrate themselves, to fundamentally to give themselves permission to be themselves. I think women are hungry and craving for that. So that's the impact that I bring to my clients, to my world, to the people that I work with, is I show them how to do that and guide them through it. And I love it.
You know, one of the things that I love about you is your spirit. I mean, when we had to break to try to get the technical difficulties worked out, I was telling the ladies that I'm like, "Gosh, I just love her spirit." So I'm so glad that you're able to join us tonight. All right.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. All right. So as you can see, it's really a great question to ask. And no matter if you're a stay-at-home mom or if you're someone in business who is really trying to get out there and network, you can see the difference that it makes when someone shares from their heart about who they are and the impact that they're trying to make in the world. And I love these two questions. So what we're going to talk about, again, is getting back to getting your little self out of the way so that your bigger self can shine through. So once we start with this idea, and it really does start with a concept. In fact, one of the community members, incidentally, was the one who brought this out. And every single time we do a DOL View, we like to take what our community asks us about. So you can submit any question, you can submit your ideas for any topics, any themes that you want to hear about, and that's how we got this. So I just thought it was a great question. And I knew that I needed to bring it to the panel here. So, ladies, what do you see as one of the top ways that you've experienced in your own careers and in your personal lives, how you were able to get your little self out of the way so that you could grow larger and be able to shine that spirit? Like I was telling earlier, how Aparna has this spirit that just shines. So how does that come out? Go ahead and jump in.
Well, you know, Kelly, you and I have had that discussion many times with myself because, as you know, my biggest issue is stepping into, you know, that role of being the person who's going to encourage more women to love their beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been very difficult for me to do that because in my world, if you were a millionaire or if you were like Anthony Robbins or like Oprah Winfrey, you were considered to be the bad person. And so when I decided that I wanted to be a speaker, it was very difficult for me to step into that role because I didn't want to be Anthony Robbins. I didn't want to be that mega personality, and I didn't think I had that mega personality. And so, you know me, like over the past 3 years, when I finally admitted to myself I wanted to be a speaker, it was an incredible transformation for me. And it's something that I deal with every day on a daily basis. And it's been incredible because when I stepped into that role and I let myself be in alignment and say, okay, you know, God, just tell me what to do. How am I going to do this? I don't know. But, you know, if this is my purpose in the world, then, you know, help me, make it happen for me, and just tell me what to do. And that's what's happened to me. And all of a sudden, I have had more incredible success in these past 3 years than I ever had in the rest of my 40-some years. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as far as, you know, winning the Fierce Woman of the World, you know, winning, you know, the Queen Elizabeth, you know, honored me with a medal in November, and just 3 weeks ago I won the Woman of Distinction Award. And really, those awards, like, it's so awesome to have them, but it really doesn't mean as much to me as being able to get out and share my story with, you know, those 100 abused women that I was speaking to. What most of you guys don't know is that when I was nominated for the Woman of Distinction Award, I was supposed to go to Toronto, and I ended up going to Toronto and speaking to these 100 women and having a meeting with Dove versus canceling it so that I could go accept an award. Mm-hmm. And my big thing with Kelly, I even told her, I said, you know what, this means more to me to get on stage to speak to those 100 women than it does to get up on stage to accept an award. And so, you know, it's just a matter of allowing yourself to experience that greatness. So,
and I think the key word there, and I'm going to use an Alex Mendosian tool here, alignment. Kelly was talking about being in alignment with herself, being able to shine through in a larger way. And once she was able to encapsulate where her alignment was, where her gifts were, and accept them rather than be afraid of them, like she had heard this belief in her head about Anthony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, just being able to step into that alignment was really what created that shining through in a larger way for her. Thank you, Kelly. That was awesome. Thank you. Kim, what about you?
Oh, I have a lot of those little stories, but I'll share one that happened to me recently. Yesterday, I had to do a hangout with a client and talk about his product he just released, and the little thing that kept getting in the way is called electricity. And what happened was I went by on Tuesday to make sure that the that the internet at the library was working where I was going to go use the high-speed internet, because I am traveling right now. I'm in Chicago. And I said, okay, I'm not going to depend on my computer's broadband. I'm going to go to the library and get some high-speed internet. Everything was working. I show up on Wednesday, guess what? The night before, the storms came through and knocked out the electricity and knocked out the internet. No internet for that meeting. So I said, okay, I'll get on with my computer. The computer didn't want to work. I ended up having to go between my phone and my computer to get in this hangout, and it still the Hangout for my client crashed 3 times because he lost electricity 3 times. And
Oh
he's in
no.
Romania. So we're both trying to figure out how can we get something out of all of this. Do you know that even though he stopped the Hangout and started it again 3 different times, he was able to splice together the 3 different videos that were recorded and came up with a great training
Wow.
video.
That's
So
awesome.
Awesome.
we had to get out of our way and continue going and not stopping, and we still came out with a great product. So that's an example
That's
of
awesome.
getting your little self out of the way so your big self can shine through.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so Kim's tip, getting out of your own way. All right, thank you, Kim. All right, Aparna, what about you?
Well, when I was sent the topic, I had to ponder on it, and I separated the topic into two. The first thing I asked myself was, what is the little self? And what is the bigger self? What are the two? How are they both different? So I know from myself and my own personal experience and in my teachings that the little self is the self that is more attached to trauma and wounds, disappointments, failure, loss, karma, stuff in the lineage, patterns, just a lot of cultural things, norms that we've just adopted them and adapted them as though they really are the real authentic us. We've maybe have never questioned it. And when we operate our lives from that place of all of those things we've accumulated or we've been given, and we've simply, without questioning it, have just received it and made it as us, then that is a place of difficulty. And I can speak of that from my own experience. For a number of years, I bought into that. And I'm sure even now in the deep recesses of my subconscious mind, there's still components of that, of the things I've bought into that limited me, caused me incredible displeasure and disharmony and imbalance within me, body, mind, and spirit, until the discomfort was so acute and so difficult that I had to say, I can't do this anymore. So if I can't do this anymore, then what is this higher self? Who am I in relation to this higher self? And the conclusion I've come to is the higher self is the one that is able to go beyond the mundane stuff of life, the things that hold us back, the things that limit us. And the way you access that higher self within is first to have a connection with yourself in terms of your body, your mind, and your emotional body. And to take care of yourself with great love and nurturance, whether it's your body or your emotional state, your mental state, your relationship to yourself, and I call that self-love, and then to have a cultivation, a commitment to developing this deep self-trust. Now, as somebody who has had very little deep self-trust in my life, none at all, to somebody who has now come to a certain plateau of self-trust, I can say it's one of the worthiest investments you can make in yourself. So that to me is my journey, going from buying into things or being conditioned. Let's just say I was a conditioned being for so long and really uncomfortable and miserable, till I decided I need to operate my own life and myself from this higher place. And so this higher place is the transcendent place. One who can see the karmic patterns, one who can see the family traditions and the cultural norms and the societal expectations and still decide to go beyond it and have compassion for all of those experiences and the gifts that those experiences brought, and to operate my life from that place and make me my own sovereign authority with the highest of integrity.
Beautiful. That
Thanks.
was very eloquent. Thank you so much. So one thing that I got out of that was to nurture yourself. That is definitely a very, very important tool to be able to have. And I call it a tool because it truly is. You have to actually plan it out sometimes. I think on our last program, I believe it was either our last or the very first one, we had talked about actually scheduling time to nurture yourself on your calendar, because if you don't, it may not happen. As we sit around, and sit around, yeah, like how many of us sit around? As we're moms and we're wives and we keep our house, we keep our business, we keep, all the little facets of our lives together, we will tend to forget how to nurture ourselves if we're not writing it in on the calendar. Today, my husband had the day off, and it's interesting how much of a pattern I've gotten myself into just so that I do not fall back into what she was saying earlier about limiting beliefs. So to be able to stay living beyond limiting beliefs, I have gotten myself into these routines and these patterns, and not to a point where I can't change those patterns, because for me, nurturing myself is extremely important, but having that compassion that has got to come from God for me, that's where it comes through. And so the very first thing that I do every single day of my life is I spend that time with God. And being able to just accept the love and accept the compassion that He has, to be able to give that to other people, that is so powerful. And when I go from there to getting the day ready, whether that is, making sure that I rehydrate myself, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but you actually dehydrate when you are sleeping at nighttime. And so you need to rehydrate your body. So I make sure that I drink a lot of water when I first get up. And once I'm done that, then I start exercising. I'll go for a bike ride, I'll go for a hike, I'll go for a walk, I'll, do all kinds of exercising type of things. And then I exercise my mind at the same time. So being able to kind of, again, using Alex's words, chunk things together. You can exercise your mind while you're exercising your body. Put on some headphones, listen to some beautiful meditation music, or listen to maybe some personal development, spiritual development type of information while you're exercising. For me, that is just one of the most important things that I could ever do to create that bigger self and be able to have that shine through every single day. Are we perfect at it, ladies? Do we all have these wonderful lives where we're always
Sure. Sure. Everything works out 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Classic example tonight. Yes.
We all got lots of drama in our life. We had drama before the show started. What was that, Kim? You were like confused about something. Or was that Kelly? I don't know.
No, it was the other Kelly.
Yes, we have this little issue. We've got Kelly, and Kim. And so whenever we have a guest on, they'll say the other Kelly, or Kim will say Kelly 1 or Kelly 2. I mean, it's crazy. We just have fun.
There's a question I want to ask that came up. Do you have a plan in place? And if you do you stick to it 100% of the time?
I think that's a fantastic question. I love it because, yes, we can have all the plans that we want. We are free. We have free will to make all the plans we want. And there is also divine will. And so the school of life will lead us to understand that the more aligned our will is with divine will, the easier life will be. And it's really challenging to the ego, but as a woman who is so interested in being in the flow of that energy, it's so much easier to surrender to that, to the divine will, and say, okay, you show me. I think one of you talked about that earlier, actually.
Yes.
Show me. Yeah.
I find if I make too many plans, it just, I have like certain intentions in mind and things I want to accomplish, but then, you know what, I've just had so many things happen to me that there's no way I could have planned that. Like, I couldn't have planned winning or being a recipient of a medal from our queen. I couldn't have planned that. I couldn't have planned getting a meeting with Dove Corporation. I couldn't have planned that. Certain things come up, and to me, those are signs from our universe that's saying, hey, you should do this. And when I follow those signs that I have every day I get a little sign that leads me to something else. And that's the biggest problem, is that people don't notice those little signs. And I don't know if they just don't notice it or they're just not paying attention to it. But I noticed that when I started to pay attention to those little signs that I get, I've just been getting this tremendous stuff happening to me. So I don't want to be set in a rigid plan. I want to be able to go with the flow and make things happen as they come up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I definitely am not stuck in a rigid plan. I started to say when my husband had the day off today, I didn't do any of those things that I normally do. And it was interesting how different my mindset was throughout the day. But I'm also at this place in my life where, like what you're saying, Kelly, you've got to be able to watch for those signs. You've got to be able to see where God is moving constantly all throughout the day in your life. And it's a challenge because people often say, oh, well, that's just my mind. It's not really a divine intervention type of a thing. And honestly, if you really, really open your eyes and if you really, really listen, you will see that God is everywhere and in everything at all times. When we can't see that, just like Arpana was saying, it's when we're trying to take the front driver's seat instead of the back seat and try to plan every little thing and make sure that every little thing is exactly the way we want it. And we find that once we start doing that, we're pushing other people as well. And sometimes we're pushing them away. And that's not what we want to do. So being able to be open to that spirit, being able to hear it and see it is powerful.
So Kelly, why don't you give an example of a sign that you got and then you took action on it?
Oh,
or maybe all of us can answer something like that. Maybe Kim,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. So yesterday was amazing. I can't tell you how many things actually were signs, but I'm going to give you one. And this is the craziest thing ever. And I would not recommend that anybody go and do this unless they really feel like this is what's supposed to happen. So I'm meeting in a leadership meeting yesterday, and it was good. I hadn't planned on going, but one of those moments where I hear God say, you know, this is what I want you to do. So I sign up for it and I go, and now I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, why am I here again? You know, I sat right next to this woman who just hands me her business card. Now I only have a few business cards left for the Day of Love, and I was just like, I'm not going to give her one. I'm not going to give her one, you know, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm not going to give her one. I never say things like that. But I took one out, and then I hear, give her a card. And I was like, oh, right? So I slid the card over to her. Now, she was talking about what she does for work, and it just so happens that she is working for a radio station, the one that I listen to right here in South Carolina. So we've connected that way. But what happened after that was just incredible. I thought that she had said the name Daniel while she was talking. And I said, who? Daniel who? And she said, oh, I didn't say that. And I was like, I said, you know, that's pretty interesting because I thought that that's what I heard. So when I left there, I was driving, I got lost. My GPS had no idea how to get me back to where I live, and it was the craziest thing. But I see this gentleman walking. He was pulling, this is so crazy, he was pulling a little black luggage with bread hanging all out of it. And he looked like Forrest Gump. And I don't know if you guys know who Forrest Gump is, but he had a you know, kind of this long beard and mustache and, you know, longer hair. And when I stopped to talk with him, he sounded like Forrest Gump, and he said that he's walked like 30 miles or whatever it was to go grocery shopping, and I was going, this is so amazing. When I asked him his name was Daniel, and it took me back. I was like, that's what I thought the name she said was. So was this another sign? I don't know, but here's what I did. I actually, since he knew exactly where I needed to go, and he still had another, I think he said like 15 miles left to walk, I said, hop in. I'll give you a ride. I knew full well that this man's name of Daniel, and here he is trying so hard on his GPS to get me back to my place. There was no way that he was ever going to take advantage of me. I just said, hop in and I'll give you a ride. And it worked out so beautifully. He's an entrepreneur, etc., etc. It was just amazing. Those types of signs happen in my life all the time, and they happen in your life all the time too. It's just, you know, are we going to listen? That's the key.
Cool.
I think it's beautiful because it's the messages you hear are also from your higher self. You know, it's like they're secretly whispering to you, pay attention, here's an opportunity, here's a sign, here's a way to love and to freedom and whatever else that we're all looking for. Mm-hmm. My story, I'll keep it short. Number of years ago, I moved from Ann Arbor, Michigan to Encinitas, California. And I, of course, had a very deep desire to work at the Chopra Center in San Diego, which was very close to where I was living at that time. So I said, well, I've been here for 2 days. I'm just going to show up over there and just announce to them that I intend on working there. And they said, who are you? And I said, well, I'm Aparna Kanolkar, and I'm a fantastic chef, and I make Ayurvedic food, and so I want you guys to hire me. And they said, oh, we don't need anybody. We're fine. We already have a German chef. And I said, okay. And then I went back a week later, and I said, I would like to be the chef here. And something kept prompting me to go and just be open and just put it out there. And I did that 3 times. And about a month later, they called me and they said, all right, we'll try you out. I was there for a year and a half. I met some of the most interesting people, had such an amazing, expansive experience. And I taught a couple of different classes, but mostly I was the chef for their programs. And I got to talk about food a little bit each week, and nutrition and nourishment and all that good stuff. And something in me prompted me to go and just say, I want to be the chef here. And it just created a whole new career opportunity for me. It was very prestigious to be there. I still get to say I was a chef at the Chopra Center, and people immediately know what that means. Being able to listen to that inner voice, that secret silent voice that speaks to us.
Well, what happened to me a couple months ago was that I had kind of decided that I was going to start looking for a new place to live and, go out on my own. And, right now I've been living with my aunt, and so I was going to, buy a house. And I said to myself, okay, fine. You tell me which realtor I should use, because I had a friend that I had used when we bought our other house, but I had also met a realtor in Starbucks just like 2 or 3 weeks earlier. So I said, whichever one, I don't know, give me a sign on who I should use. So that morning I decided to go to Starbucks, and here was the same realtor that I had just met 2 weeks earlier in Starbucks. And I said, okay, that's the sign. I'm supposed to use this guy. And, and it was awesome because he was just a young realtor just getting started. And so it's been awesome because he found me the house that I wanted to buy, and things have been great. So it was just, I thought it was so cool that first thing I do, go into Starbucks, and there he is, that realtor, So that was my sign.
I would say mine happened when I got an email asking me if I knew about this plugin. Now, I am a WordPress website developer. I love plugins, and I had never heard of this plugin. I'm going, why didn't I know about this? Why haven't I heard anything? And so I'm thinking, oh, this is some MLM, something like that, because there have been a whole bunch of them coming out trying to tie themselves to Google+. And I said, okay, I'll go check it out. So I go and I check it out, and I'm like, oh, this is the real deal. Oh my goodness, this is going to revolutionize my business. And so I get into, I purchased a plugin, and they have a mastermind group, and I was like, I really don't need a mastermind group, but I guess I'll go ahead and join it. And so I joined the mastermind group. By me actually checking out the plugin, joining the mastermind group, getting active in the mastermind group, I now have the creator of the plugin as a client because of me doing those little things to get out of the way so that my big self could sign through. And I didn't realize the little things that seemed little to me, they were actually divine appointments for me to get the email telling me about the plugin, for me to buy the plugin, for me to join the mastermind group, for me to get active in the mastermind group. And then by me being active, connecting with the creator of the plugin and making a friend who is, now a client, sometimes those little things that you think don't really matter, they really do.
Yeah, they definitely do. Well, ladies, thank you so much. I think what we're going to do now, because we have promised everybody that we're going to go ahead and give a couple things away here tonight, and I just want to mention that we do have another new product coming out very soon, and it is definitely full of transformational DVDs. It's called Day of Love, Healing, Restoring Relationships. This program is going to launch very soon, and just so you know that other people have said that it is captivating, it's heart transforming, it's life altering, and honestly, I cannot wait to get it out to the public. I think not this show, but next show, I will probably consider doing a free giveaway on that program, and that's July 10th, by the way. Speaking of giveaway, Kelly, why don't you share some exciting news that we have about tonight's giveaway?
About tonight's giveaway. Well, as you all know, Kelly and I worked on a program together called The Secrets to Self-Love. Success happens when we start loving ourselves more and when we give ourselves permission to love more. And I want to talk to you a little bit about why we did this. Last summer, a friend of mine from high school came up to me and she said, Kelly, I feel ugly, I feel old, I feel fat, I just feel worn out, and I just don't understand why my husband loves me. He thinks I'm so beautiful, and yet I feel ugly, old, and fat. And I want to feel what it is he sees in me. So what can I do? And so that's when I approached Kelly and I said, look, this is what I get. On a continuous basis, people are telling me how old and ugly they feel. And what are we going to do about that? So we developed this whole program called The Secret to Self-Love. And it's 5 different modules. And we speak about, how we learn to love ourselves and how we deserve to love ourselves and how we learn to love our little parts and how to get yourself out of the way so that you can do all this. And we put this whole program together. It includes a workbook, it includes the 5 different modules, and we just want to help you to start loving yourself and realize that you deserve to have that self-worth. So I think we're giving away a free one, aren't we? Is that what we're doing, Kel?
We're actually going to give away 2 tonight. We don't have it posted so that you can purchase the program yet, but what we are going to do is start by giving away 2 free programs before the program is even actually launched.
If I know how you convinced me to give away 2. How did you convince me to do that?
Well, probably because
you must have caught me at a weak moment, girl.
So here's what we're going to ask you to do. If you aren't able to tag us on Facebook right now, please do friend us, because this is how you're going to be able to win these. I'm not going to say these 2 free gifts, but you will win 1, because 2 people are going to win each one of these Secrets to Self-Love programs. So what you're going to do is go onto the Day of Love Facebook page. And as part of the program, part of our community rather, you should have that link in your inbox, in your emails. So go ahead and click on that link, or you can search for it. It's called Day of Love Event in Facebook. So what we want you to do is share that page, okay? Share the link to that page on your own personal page or your business page, either one. It's totally up to you. Share that link and then tag both Kelly Filardo and Kelly Frazier on there. So that's why I said you might have to friend us first in order for us to be tagged. When we see that tag come through, we're going to know that 2 people have done that exact request, because we'll be able to see it on our page and Kelly will be able to see it on her page, and then we'll go to the DOL and make sure that we see it there. So just go ahead. The first person who can do that, so I'll say it one more time, share the DOL Facebook page, as well as tag both Kelly Filardo and Kelly Frazier on your own page, and you will win 1 free gift of The Secrets to Self-Love. So, ladies, I first want to start by just thanking you for being on our live stream tonight. I know even with technical difficulties, we can still bless lives, and that's what I'm so thrilled about, because each one of you have been able to do that tonight because you've blessed me. So thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you so much. So my website is aparnakanolkar.com. I know it's very different sounding, but you can see it on the screen there, aparnakanolkar.com. And if you sign up for my newsletter anytime you want, and you can unsubscribe anytime you want, you get a beautiful ebook called The Return of the Feminine, which has a worksheet component to it. So not only do you get to read beautiful things, you get to do a little bit of inner work on your own. In addition to that, I have, if you go on my services page, you'll see some of my programs listed there. I have a delightful program, a course, a 4-week course teleseminar starting on July 10th called Embrace the Feminine. This is for women who want to learn to be vulnerable in their communication, in their relationships. It's for women who want to understand the balance between play and responsibilities and how to bring in more of that play into their lives. And also for women who want to learn to find their true feminine essence, their special, unique gift. So that starts on July 10th, and I'd love to have a few women, if not a lot of women, take this wonderful telecourse. Other than that, I'm also available for any kind of just like one-on-one consulting. I have other programs too, but you can read about that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Kim?
You can find me at Kim Live. Let me point to it, wherever it is. Somewhere down there, KimLive.tv. And one of the things that I'm doing through Kim Live TV is teaching business owners how to use Hangouts to grow their business online, and you can find out that teaching at traininghangout.com, traininghangout.com, and I look forward to connecting with you.
And Kelly?
Well, you can find me at either kellyfalardo.com, or you can also find me at howdoigetselfesteem.net. What's cool, if you sign up on that program, you'll get 5 free videos, and it's an awesome program for teenagers. We developed that one just for teenagers, but of course there's also some great tips on there for adults too. So you can find me there, and yeah, looking forward to our next show.
You can find me at kellyfraser.com if you want to hire me as a speaker, or you can just stay right here at dayoflove.org, because this right now is my sole focus and being able to share the messages through my speaking and my writing. I also want to encourage you, whether you have daughters, cousins, wives, aunts, whomever it is, just please have them go and sign up to get this live stream, the replays, the freebie gifts that we give away, as well as learning more information about the live event that's coming up in November, and we're going to give you more information about that later. So I want to encourage everybody, because every woman deserves to have a day of love. Every woman deserves to have healing and restoration in their lives. And as you can see, we're all a work in progress. There's not one single individual sitting on this panel tonight that is not like you. We are all the same. We just have different levels of understanding. That's truly what it comes down to. Again, we want to just congratulate you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to connect with our speakers. Until next time, just remember to give yourself a day of love with continual restoration and healing for your life. So we love you. Mwah. Blessings
Thank you.
to you. And
thank you. Thank you.
Soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.